Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to the Shadow and Sun Show, and welcome back to another Gamma World module review. This time, unfortunately, it is a PDF review because I just could not track down a copy of it, an original copy. Excuse me. Drive-through RPG seems to be the best place to find it at the most reasonable price. If you want to reprint, there are a ton of sellers on eBay that are apparently doing the same thing, which drives me up a wall because I had to go through scores of sellers selling the same thing, basically the drive-through version of the PDF, but you know, already printed, which really isn't printed. They're going to make you wait, just as drive-through would as well, but they're out there if you're interested. But you can also just go to Scribd or a couple other places, or Scribd, I don't know, on the internet, and check it out if you know, it sounds like it might be up your alley. Mind you, this is a 3rd edition module, but with a little tweaking. You know, as per any good module, you're still going to want to tweak some things, omit and add things here and there as you go along. But this one, you know, I gotta admit, in the beginning I was reading through it, and I want to bring up some of the names here on the other screen if I can find it. Just go to the map, it should be in the back. It started off really weird, the description of the lands and the names of the land. Mind you, it was written by Kim Eastland, I believe, and it was just, it really had this sort of Land of Oz feel to it, with the way the different locations on the map were described, and even the way they were drawn and looked. It was very colorful, very full of flowers here and there, you know, entire biomes of particular flowers, and just weird. It was just a really weird feel to it, but you know, I pushed through for you guys and kept going, and I was absolutely amazed. I'm not really super familiar with her work, but as I went through it, I'm almost there, guys. Sorry, I'm trying to find some of the names of the locations just to give you an idea of what I was talking about before you get to the Mine Keep, which is the basic premise of the adventure, is to go and explore this place called the Mine Keep, which sounds a little familiar from the last couple of modules, and I was like, this sounds a little too similar to the Mine Masters, and I was just, you know, not feeling it. But once you know, get a little further and keep reading, and come on, how far do I got to go to see the actual world map? But once you get past all that, and they introduce you to Timon, who is a military leader. I think he's a badger or a wolverine, bent on global domination. It's quite funny, and you are supposed to play into his Uncle Adolf's similarities, but you're also supposed to hide the fact that he is in fact not what he seems. He comes across as, you know, a nice, helpful leader of a mutated animal sort of society, and it does have a bit of that Animal Farm feel to it. But once you get past all of that, and you get the players rolling along, and even after, once you've gotten into the Flowerlands, Golden Barrens, Flat Blue Food, the Great Glow, the Black River, the North Road, the Fire Forest, Bad River, Wet Road, Strawberry Fields, Rose Fields, Purple Plain. You get the picture. Once you get past all of that nonsense, I would rename a whole lot of the places just out of hand. But it turns out this is the beginning of a 5 or 6 module quest to build a starship. Well, really more of a shuttle to get you up and out of the atmosphere to find the fabled lost cities of man, which turn out to be, you guessed it, a Warden-class starship just out of orbit, harkening back to the old days of Metamorphosis Alpha. Fantastic, great way to finish off the Gamma World legacy with a return to the beginning. And this 5-part quest involves going to different locations and gathering up the equipment and the parts and the robots and the androids and everything you're going to need to build this shuttle to get yourself up there. Unfortunately, here comes the bad news. The modules were cut short with the finale never being made by TSR. It is out there, and I will bring you word on that when I find the best place to get it. But I did find one place right off the bat, and I don't want to go digging through the laptop again. You already had to, put up with that sort of distraction. But you go through Alpha, the Alpha, Beta, Delta, Gamma, Epsilon, and I think the last one is Home Before the Sky Falls. I believe that's the last one. Before you go to the Omega Project or something like that. It's got the word Omega in it, obviously. But that's the one that was, I want to say it was a fan-made module, but it looks pretty legit in all respects. So if you are in for that kind of a long adventure, and mind you, not all of these modules are your typical 30 or even 60 page, productions. A lot of them, or at least 1 or 2 of them, are in the 100-page category. So you are going to have a ton, absolutely a ton of adventure hooks and side quests and plots and counterplots and red herrings left and right to keep your Gamma World characters. And I'm definitely talking to you, Grumpy Old Slam, because you're running the Gamma World game right now, and if you haven't run it, so far it looks pretty good. Heck, even just the Mind Keep could keep your players busy for months. It's kind of like Keep on the Borderland meets Expedition to the Barrier Peaks. The B2 module for Dungeons and Dragons, all the way to the S1, 2, or 3 module for Advanced Dungeons and Dragons. It's got a bit of that, this is your new homestead, this is your base, that being the Mind Keep, I believe, all the way to exploring this ancient spaceship that crash landed, etc. It's got all of that greatness, a lot of new monsters just in the first module alone, or creatures, if you will. Some new treasures, some new equipment, things like that. A really nice new list of random artifacts of the ancients, from pencils to typewriters, that kind of thing, which I found was always a great deal of fun. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the minigame to determine what the item was, it still was fun for my players. They did enjoy it. I thought it was a little time consuming and a little metagaming when you have to pull out the charts and put your counter down on the flow chart and move your way around the difficulty factor depending on how dangerous an artifact it was. But if you guys are still into that sort of thing, it's always there for you in 1st and 2nd edition. Don't remember so much about 3rd edition, but I was absolutely blown away, shocked, surprised, laughing a couple of times here and there just reading the module. If you don't have it, like I said, it's free. I will be reviewing the beta principle either tomorrow or the next day. But truth to tell, I am expecting Wretched Apocalypse any minute. Hoping to hear the UPS guy make my little sidekick here bark his little tail off, letting me know that it will be here. And as soon as that gets here, I'm going to be compelled, and I will fail my saving throw versus putting it off. I will have to read that book as soon as it gets in my hot little hands, because I've been waiting not a very long time. I did get it from Lulu, but I will be doing a review on that, and hopefully when I'm done with that, I will be able to go into, I believe it's the 5th edition Gamma World Player's Handbook, the alternative book that I remember having once upon a time. Made the mistake of selling it, and looking back on it, obviously I wish I hadn't done that, but I enjoyed everything I remembered from it, so I'm going to give that another go and let you know what I think of that after having read that. But I've only got about 11 days left of this month to read the Beta Principle, Delta Fragment, Gamma Base, Epsilon Cyborgs, Home Before the Sky Falls, Gamma World 5th Edition, and Wretched Apocalypse. So if I have to stretch this out and bleed on into June, so be it. Hopefully it won't be that much into June, because I have other plans for June. I hope you guys do too, because it is absolutely gorgeous outside. Go out, get some sunlight, some fresh air, and when you're done with all that, come back to the table, get some great gaming in. I will see you guys most assuredly tomorrow, if not for some reason, definitely Wednesday, on the Hungar Show or the Justin Show, depending on who's awake and around for that. Otherwise, have yourselves a great day. We love you guys, and until next time, happy trails.